Think nuts are always good for you. Think again. Many nuts secretly hurt your heart, raise your blood sugar, and pile fat around your waist, without you even noticing. And especially if you're over 70, this danger is real. You probably snack on nuts every day thinking they're healthy, but packaged nuts are often packed with hidden salt, oils, and sugars. They can quietly undo the hard work you're putting into your health. It's not just about weight. The wrong nuts can make your joints ache more. They can mess with your memory. They can even slow down your balance and mobility, the very things you rely on to stay independent. You deserve better. Today I'll show you the 3 best nuts to protect your heart, memory, and movement, and the 3 you must avoid. Plus a big myth about nuts that could be putting your health at risk. Stay with me because the right choices could mean the difference between strength and struggle. Number 1, the 3 best nuts for seniors. A friendly guide with stories and tips. Let's talk about one of the simplest, tastiest ways to take care of your health as you age. I'm talking about nuts. Yep, those tiny little powerhouses that are packed with nutrients. They're easy to snack on, full of healthy fats, and perfect for supporting things like heart health, digestion, and memory. Today we're going through the 3 best nuts for seniors, not just from a nutrition standpoint, but also with real stories, practical tips, and ideas you can use right away. Let's start with a true classic that your brain will thank you for. First up, walnuts. These little wrinkly wonders are often called brain food, and it turns out there's a good reason for that. They're one of the best natural sources of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, which help keep your brain sharp and protect against inflammation. If you've been noticing more forgetfulness or just want to keep your mind in top shape, walnuts are your friend. There was a study published in 2020 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that looked at older adults who regularly ate walnuts. The researchers found those folks had better cognitive function over time compared to those who didn't include walnuts in their diet. That's a big deal, because even small changes, like what you put on your breakfast, can really add up when it comes to your long-term health. Now, let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 73, lives in Oregon, and she's been on a journey to stay as mentally active and independent as possible. A few months ago, she started adding just a quarter cup of walnuts to her oatmeal every morning. That's all. No big change, just that one little habit. 3 months in, she told her doctor she felt more focused and alert. She was remembering names more easily, keeping up with her crossword puzzles, and even getting more involved in her book club again. Her doctor noticed something else too. Her cholesterol had dropped to a healthier range, all from a handful of walnuts a day. Now, if you're wondering how to get started, here's the good news. Walnuts are super easy to add to your routine. You can sprinkle them over your oatmeal like Eleanor, toss them into a salad for a satisfying crunch, or just eat it a small handful raw in the afternoon. If you prefer a softer texture, you can even soak them in water overnight. That can help make them easier to digest, especially if you're dealing with any tummy trouble. One tip though, try to stick with raw, unsalted walnuts. That way you get all the good stuff without the added salt or oils that can work against your heart health. And here's a little trick I personally love. Keep a small container of walnuts in your purse, your car, or even by the TV remote. That way, instead of grabbing chips or sweets, you've got a healthy brain-boosting snack right at your fingertips. It's the small habits like this that make a big difference over time. So if you're looking for something easy, natural, and seriously good for your mind and heart, walnuts are a perfect place to start. They're not just a snack, they're a daily investment in your future health. Number 2, almonds. The bone and blood sugar buddy. If you are looking for a small snack that packs a big punch for your bones and blood sugar, almonds are your new best friend. These little nuts are full of calcium and magnesium, 2 minerals your bones absolutely love. They help keep them strong and stable, especially as we age and natural bone loss begins to sneak in. On top of that, almonds are rich in vitamin E, which helps support healthy skin and protects your cells from damage. But what really makes almonds stand out is how well they help with blood sugar. Thanks to their fiber, healthy fats, and a bit of plant protein, almonds slow down the release of sugar into your bloodstream. That means fewer sudden spikes and crashes, which is key for anyone dealing with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. In fact, a study published in the journal Nutrition and Metabolism showed that almonds can actually help reduce insulin resistance in older adults. It is a simple habit with real, science-backed benefits. Take George, for example. He is 76 and had been struggling with those annoying blood sugar spikes after meals. All he did was swap his afternoon crackers for about 12 almonds a day, just a small handful. Within a few weeks, his post-meal blood sugar numbers began to settle down. No fancy diet, no strict plan, just one smart change, and it made a difference. If you are wondering how to eat almonds, it is easy. Raw or lightly roasted is best because they keep their nutrients that way. You can toss a few into your morning cereal or yogurt for a little extra crunch. Just try to avoid those sugary mixes with honey or chocolate coatings. They can cancel out the health benefits. Here's a tip that might surprise you. If almonds ever feel a little heavy on your stomach, try soaking them overnight in water. It softens them up, makes them easier to chew, and can even help your body digest them more smoothly. So, if you are looking for something natural to help with bone health, blood sugar, or even just a healthier snack during the day, almonds might be exactly what you need. Small change, big impact, one handful at a time. Number 3, pistachios, the heart-healthy mood lifter. If you're looking for a snack that actually does your body good, pistachios might be your new best friend. These little green gems are packed with potassium. In fact, ounce for ounce, they've got more than half the potassium of a banana. That means they can help support healthy blood pressure, which is something a lot of us are keeping an eye on as we get older. But it's not just your heart that benefits. Pistachios are rich in vitamin B6, which helps with mood regulation, and lutein, which supports eye health. So if you're feeling a bit low or your eyes get tired more easily these days, this snack could actually make a difference. And it's not just talk. Harvard Health published findings showing that pistachios help lower LDL cholesterol, that's the bad kind, and they also improve how well your arteries work. So we're not just talking about a crunchy snack. We're talking about real cardiovascular support. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 78 and had been trying to cut back on salty snacks. She swapped out her usual chips for a small bowl of pistachios while watching her evening shows. Just that small change. 2 months later, her blood pressure came down to a healthier range, and she said she had more energy during the day. She didn't change anything else, just the snack. Now, if you're thinking of trying it, go for in-shell, roasted, unsalted pistachios. The shell helps you eat slower and enjoy them more mindfully, and you avoid the extra salt, which is important if you're watching your sodium. A really easy way to make them part of your routine is to put a handful in a small bowl next to a bottle of water, right where you usually sit in the afternoon or early evening. That way, when hunger hits, you've already got a smart, heart-healthy option waiting for you. It's simple, satisfying, and actually good for you. So next time you're reaching for a snack, think pistachios. A small handful can go a long way for your heart, your mood, and your eyes. Number 4, 3 nuts you should limit or avoid. Now look, not all nuts are created equal. Some are amazing for your heart, your joints, your digestion. But a few can sneak in a little too much of the wrong thing, especially if you're not paying attention to how they're made or how often you're eating them. These nuts aren't bad, but they can become a problem depending on how they're processed or how often you snack on them. So let's talk about 3 nuts you might want to limit or even skip altogether, especially if you're trying to stay on top of your weight, your cholesterol, or inflammation. Let's start with macadamia nuts. They taste rich and buttery, right? And there's a reason for that. These little guys are packed with fat, about 21 grams of fat in just 1 ounce. That's just a small handful. Now, most of that is the good kind of fat, but when it comes to heart health and weight control, too much fat, even the healthy kind, can tip the scale. And it's not just the fat. Macadamias are often sold roasted in oil with salt or even sugar added. That's where they get tricky. The added oils can increase your saturated fat intake and too much salt. Not great for your blood pressure. So if you're already watching your sodium or trying to cut back on cholesterol, Those fancy mixed nut bowls might not be doing you any favors. I want to tell you about Frank. He's 74, and he used to eat macadamia cookies every week, sometimes every day. He loved them. But over time, his weight started creeping up, and his doctor noticed his LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, was going higher. His energy started dropping too, so his doctor suggested he try a different snack. Frank swapped the cookies for a few walnuts each day, just a small handful, and started walking after dinner. A few months later, his doctor was shocked. His cholesterol had dropped, and his pants were fitting better too. The takeaway here, macadamia nuts aren't the enemy. You can still enjoy them, but think of them more like a treat, not an everyday snack. If you love them, go for raw or dry roasted, and keep the portion small, about 6 nuts or fewer. And skip the salted ones if you can. It's all about balance. There's a lot you can do to take control of your health, and sometimes it starts with something as simple as switching your snack. Number 5, cashews, the blood sugar spiker. Cashews are super tasty, and a lot of people think of them as a healthy snack. But here's the catch, they actually have more carbs than most other nuts. Just 1 ounce has around 9 grams of carbohydrates. That might not sound like a lot, but if you're watching your blood sugar, it can add up quickly, especially if you tend to snack without thinking. And here's another thing. Cashews are often roasted in oil and coated with salt. That makes them even harder on your system, especially if you're dealing with issues like high blood pressure or inflammation. They go down easy, and before you know it, you've eaten way more than you planned. Take Nancy, for example. She's 72 and thought she was doing great by choosing cashews over cookies. But at her next checkup, her A1C had crept up. Her dietitian pointed out the carbs in those daily handfuls. She suggested switching to almonds, which are much lower in carbs and easier on blood sugar. 2 months later, Nancy's A1C started heading in the right direction again. So if you really love cashews, you don't have to give them up completely. Just keep the portions small, about a small handful, and try to choose the raw, unsalted kind. It helps to eat them with a meal instead of by themselves. That way you avoid sudden blood sugar spikes and you stay in control. It's all about balance. You can still enjoy what you love, just in a smarter way. Number 6, flavored nut mixes, the hidden sugar and salt bomb. So here's the thing, nut mixes sound healthy, right? But a lot of those store-bought bags are actually loaded with sugar, salt, and sometimes even candy. You'll see labels saying things like honey roasted or chocolate coated, and suddenly that little handful of nuts turns into a dessert in disguise. Here's a quick fact that might surprise you. Just a half cup of honey roasted peanuts can pack over 250 milligrams of sodium and 10 grams of sugar. That's almost like eating a slice of cake, but you think you're being healthy. This really hit home for Ron and Marie. They're in their 70s and used to snack on nut mixes every evening. They thought it was a smart choice, but once they started reading the labels, they were shocked. So they switched it up. Instead of buying pre-mixed bags, they made their own blend. Raw almonds, pistachios, and just a sprinkle of dried cranberries. No added sugar, no extra salt. And without even trying, they were cutting out about 500 calories a week. More energy, better digestion, and no feeling of missing out. If you want to do the same, here's an easy recipe to get started. Grab 1 cup of raw almonds, half a cup of dried blueberries, make sure there's no added sugar, and a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds. Mix it all up and toss it in a mason jar. Now you've got a healthy snack ready to go with fiber, protein, and good fats without the hidden stuff. It's a small change, but it can make a big difference for your heart, your blood sugar, and your overall health. Busting the biggest nut myth. You've probably heard this one before. Nuts are fattening, especially as you get older, so better stay away. But here's the truth, that's just a myth. The fat in nuts isn't the bad kind people worry about. It's mostly healthy fats, like monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, that actually help your body. They calm inflammation, protect your heart, and make you feel full longer, so you're less likely to reach for unhealthy snacks later. And it's not just theory. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who regularly eat nuts tend to have lower body mass index and smaller waistlines. That means eating nuts may actually help you manage your weight, not make it worse. Of course, it's all about balance. You don't need a giant bowl of mixed nuts every day. A small handful, eaten mindfully, can be a powerful support for your health, especially when you swap them in for processed snacks or fried foods. So don't let old myths hold you back. The right nuts in the right amount can do wonders for your body, even as you age. So let's go over it one more time. The three nuts you should add to your life are walnuts, almonds, and pistachios, the ones to keep an eye on. Macadamia nuts, cashews, and those sneaky flavored nut mixes that seem healthy but are often loaded with salt, sugar, or oils. Now here's the thing, you don't have to overhaul your entire diet to start feeling better. Just swap out your afternoon cookie or chips for a handful of brain-boosting walnuts or energy-lifting pistachios. One small change at a time, that is how real progress happens. These little shifts, especially when it comes to your heart, brain, and digestion, can build up into something powerful. And remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about making better choices more often. Nuts are full of healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. The right ones can help support your memory, reduce inflammation, and even keep your blood sugar more stable. That is a win across the board. Now we want to hear from you. Which nut do you eat the most? Comment a peanut below and tell us your go-to snack. Is it almonds on your oatmeal or a little pistachio crunch while watching TV? If you learned something new today, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe so we can keep aging smarter. Together, we are in this with you. And hey, if you know someone who's been reaching for the candy jar a little too often, share this video with them. You might be the reason they discover a healthier habit that actually sticks.